leaves. If you do find yourself inside the San Antonio River, I do not want y'all to panic. I need you to do these 2 steps, okay? Stand up, walk out. That's all you need to do, okay? It's only 3 feet deep.
Yeah, but if you're only 4
Now, the reason why I
foot.
don't want y'all to stand up, folks, is because of these bridges, like this one right in front of us. This is a fully made cast iron bridge, and it is very low. So if you hit your head right here, folks, it's gonna hurt. Now, I promise you, y'all can trust me, okay? I've been doing this for a solid 2 weeks now. I feel very confident in the driving skills.
A whole 2 weeks.
Just like that, folks, see? Now, coming up on the right-hand side, on this island, folks, you're going to see a beautiful statue known as Father Massenet's Table. That was a gift from a local artist back in 1991. It honors the first Catholic Mass on this island back in 1691. The island it stands on is formed by this very large cypress tree's roots. Now, the island is in a shape of a heart. It is known as Marriage Island because 300 marriages are performed on this island each and every year. It is said if you do get married on Marriage Island, propose to your loved one or even just go on a date. It is supposed to bring good luck and good fortune to you and your relationship. Now, gentlemen, keep that in mind, okay? Now, here in San Antonio, we do have a lot of beautiful things, folks, like Marriage Island, which is behind us. And we also have a lot of bad things, okay? Now, in front of us, you're going to see a really tall building, kind of looks like a rocket ship. You see that, folks?
Yeah.
That's what we like to call Divorce Island. It is the Bexar County Courthouse, folks. Now, the courthouse was built back in 1896, fully made of red sandstone and Texas granite. I know it looks like a chapel, folks, but I promise you, you do not want to confess in that building. On the left-hand side, you're going to see a beautiful tall tower. This is known as the Tower Life Building, folks. The Tower Life was built back in 1929. It was originally owned by the Young brothers at the time. The Young brothers were very superstitious. So if you look at the very top, underneath that U.S. flag, you might see some gargoyles up there. You see those, folks? Now, on the side, between the first and second set of windows, there's these ugly faces we call grotesques. The Young brothers, they put the gargoyles at the very top and the grotesque here to ward off evil spirits and bad business. But sadly, they didn't work out so well. The building standing right next to us, folks, it's actually infested with lawyers and investors, a lot of evil things, folks. Does anyone actually know what happened back in 1929? Thank you very much, sir. The stock market crashed, and it started the Great Depression. Now, the Young brothers, they built the Tower Life Building for about $3 million, $3 million. As soon as the stock market crashed, they went bankrupt. They lost their money. They had to sell the Tower Life Building back to the city of San Antonio, Texas, for the low price of $277,000. They lost a lot of money, folks. Now, in front of us, you are going to see this really green light right here, folks. This is known as Floodgate 4. I am actually obligated to honk the horn right here, okay? It's a little loud, so you might want to cover your ears. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Now, as I'm making this right-hand turn, folks, I want y'all to look to the left-hand side. About 200 meters down south, you're going to see another green light just like this one. Only that one is known as Floodgate 5. If we took a left turn instead of a right turn, went all the way down to that green light and past it, there's a 15-foot drop. That goes another 300 miles all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. I like you folks, I really do. That's why we're not going to go that way, okay? See, back in 1921, San Antonio had its worst flooding yet. The waters that we're on today were above these 2 bridges, 10 feet above them. The flood killed 400 people and millions of dollars worth of property damage. As soon as the water went back to its natural state, the city of San Antonio, Texas, and the Army Corps of Engineers got together to start prepping the plans for the flood control. It wasn't finalized until 1929 when Robert Hugman finalized the plans. Due to the Great Depression, they didn't have enough money. What they did is they had to do fundraisers for about 12 years until 1941. San Antonio gathered up enough money to build the 5 floodgates. On the right hand side, you're going to see another one of our buildings, another one of our hotels actually. It's called the Drury Plaza Hotel. The Drury Plaza opened up back in 2007. The building itself, though, has been used since the early days of the Great Depression. only this was known as the Alamo National Bank. Inside the basement, there is a 15-ton safe. That's where they used to store the money when this was a bank. You're actually more than welcome to go inside the Jury Plaza Hotel and take pictures of the safe from the outside and inside. Reason why is because they don't put any of the money in there anymore, okay folks? In front of us, you will see the oldest and tallest tree on the Riverwalk. It's a cypress tree that stands over 100 feet tall and is about 400 years old. During the Texas Revolution, this was a very dangerous, very deadly place to come to. It is said that a Mexican sniper would climb up this 100-foot tree, wait up there for hours, and take out Texas soldiers that came down here to water their horses. Now, on December 7th, 1835, a colonel from the Texas Army, his name was Colonel Ben Milan. He was shot and killed 200 meters north of here, straight to the head by the same sniper on this tree. In honor of the colonel, we renamed this tree the Ben Milan tree. Now the reason why I'm going a little bit slower right here, folks, is if you can see right above your heads, there is a 5-ton garage-like door. This one is known as Floodgate 3. Now, San Antonio, whenever we like to clean out this water, we actually close this floodgate right here, known as Floodgate 3, and we also close Floodgate 4, the one that I honked at, like this. Now, what they do is they clean this river. They take out all the trash cans that have been thrown in the San Antonio River, trash bags, beer cans, beer bottles, cell phones, clothing, dead bodies, everything, folks. Back in 2019, San Antonio took out more than 79 electrical scooters out of this Riverwalk. That was the same year those scooters came out, folks. If you look on the right-hand side, you are going to see the oldest bar on the Riverwalk, known as the Esquire Tavern. The Esquire Tavern opened up its doors back in 1933 to celebrate the end of Prohibition. Now, it is said moments as soon as they opened up the doors, all the shelves were fully stocked with liquor. The reason why is because during Prohibition, this was actually very famous, very well known barbershop. People would go in there for haircuts, stay in there for hours at a time, and come out extremely drunk. Now, as you're going to see on the right-hand side, folks, this is another one of our docks. This is known as the Aztec Dock. You see this boat right here on the right-hand side, folks? Now, this is a very unique tour. This is what we call the short tours, okay?
Got him! Got him!
Oh, this is pretty.
By any chance, folks, do I have anyone on this boat that is a fan of the famous Tejano musician? Her name was Salinas. Alrighty, folks. Believe it or not, this bridge right here is known as Salinas Bridge. Now, Jennifer Lopez came down here back in 1966 to film the movie Salinas. She walked right here on the left-hand side, folks. Jennifer Lopez walked up these stairs, and Jennifer Lopez herself sat her most precious assets on this bridge, folks. Very close to my heart, honestly. If you want to see where she stayed, it's right here on the left-hand side, this luxury hotel known as the Omni La Mansion. The Omni La Mansion opened up its doors back in the 1800s. It was known as the St. Mary's School for Boys. The school prospered for multiple amounts of years, but it wasn't big enough to hold all the students. So what they did is they packed up everything and they moved 3 miles west of here. It is now known as St. Mary's University. An alumni purchased this building back in 1966. It took 2 years to remodel it to a luxurious hotel that opened up for the World's Fair at 68. Now, Jennifer Lopez stayed here back in 1996, a year before the film came out. She stayed in the presidential suite for about $200 a night. You can stay in the same room Jennifer Lopez stayed in back in 1996, but tonight, in 2021, it's about $5,000 now a night. If y'all want to see something really cool, as soon as we exit this bridge, I need you to look at the building coming up to the left-hand side, but look all the way up. It's going to look very flat. Right here on the left-hand side, folks. This building right here, folks, is known as the Knicks Hospital. Knicks Hospital opened up its doors back in 1903. It was the first full-functioning hospital to have central air conditioning, and it also had a bar in the basement. This was the birthplace of the actress and comedian Carol Burnett. and Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Now, sadly, the Knicks Hospital did close its doors back in 2019. It is a rumor, though, they will be reopening it as the newest hotel comes to the Riverwalk. Now, speaking of hotels, in front of us, you are going to see the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The Hyatt Regency opened up its doors back in 1981. It's actually a lot wider than it is taller. The reason why they built it like that is because on the other side, the Alamo stands. The Alamo is a very famous war memorial. It's a federal law to cast a shadow on a war memorial. That's why they built the Hyatt Regency only at 11 stories high. By any chance, folks, has anyone gone to see the Alamo today? Does anyone want to go see the Alamo? Okay. You can actually go through these double doors on the left-hand side. It says the Shops of Paseo de Alamo. Go through the Hyatt Regency Hotel. On the other side, you're going to find the beer garden and a waterfall. A little bit further down, there's a stairway that goes all the way up to the Alamo. You probably don't want to go tonight, okay, folks? The Alamo is actually very, very haunted. That's the burial ground of the Payaya Indians, the Native Americans that used to live on these riverbanks thousands of years ago. Yes, ma'am, you can. Well, yes, ma'am. Oh, not ghost tours, because it is it's a national treasure to us, actually. It's a war monument. So they don't actually have ghost tours at the end. Now, right here, folks, as soon as we enter this bridge, we are entering the most famous part of the river. It is known as the River Square. It's a really great place, especially if you want to get your cameras out, folks. You know, get your Facebook Live videos, your TikTok videos, Snapchats, Twitters, MySpace if you still have it. Down here, we do have a really large selection of food. We have Tex-Mex, we have steakhouses. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, okay? Just Tex-Mex and steakhouses. If y'all like margaritas, though, come to the left-hand side, and this bar is known as the Agave Bar. They are home of a 64-ounce margarita. That's about half a gallon worth of alcohol, folks. On the right-hand side, you are going to see the cylinder-shaped building. This is known as the Clifford Building. Back in 1941, after the finalization of the flood control, this is where Robert Hugman, the father of the Riverwalk, put his office. He wanted to show other business people it was more than safe to open up down here. At the time, a lot of them didn't want to jump on his bandwagon. They were really rude to Robert Hugman. They told him he was going to die and drown like the riverite he was. After 5 years of proving everyone wrong, though, the first restaurant, Casa Rio, opened up the doors back in 1946. As you're going to see today, folks, Casa Rio is still famous today. They've been open for more than 75 years now. Now, they were the first ones to have riverside dining and river barge dining. More than 70 years ago, you would get on these boats called gondolas, and you would cruise around and feast like kings and queens. Now, we are going to be making a left-hand turn right here, folks. We're going to go through this man-made part of the river.
Statue.
I know I've been talking a lot, folks, so I want to get to know y'all a little bit more, okay? Now, do I have anyone on this boat that is celebrating maybe a birthday? No? What about an anniversary, folks? Any anniversaries? Congratulations, folks. How long y'all been together? 5 years? Oh, congratulations, folks.
92 if you count both of our first marriages where our late spouses died.
Well, congratulations, folks. I'm happy to have y'all. Now, do I have anyone celebrating maybe a marriage? Any marriages happening? How about any divorces, guys? Any divorces? All right. Now, do I have anyone that's from out of town here for visiting family or anything? Okay. Well, welcome, folks. I'm happy to have you all on my boat, okay?
Once again, Spanish for San Anthony. The city
Now, I am going to be making this slight left-hand turn, okay? As I make this slight left-hand turn, I want you to see this beautiful hotel. It's lit up green and red at the very top. It is known as the Marriott River Center Hotel. The Marriott River Center was built back in 1988. It's roughly 23 stories high and has over 1,000 hotel rooms. It wasn't the first hotel to reside on that location, though. See, back in 1906, that's where the Fairmont Hotel once resided. The Fairmont. was a beautiful historical building. So San Antonio wasn't allowed to demolish it. What they did instead, back in 1985, they lifted up a 1,600-ton building and they placed it on 36 dollies. Now, they used gravel trucks and they used wrenches to move the 1,600-ton building 6 blocks down south of here. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, folks, but I promise you can trust me, okay? Now, there is a video on YouTube you can look up yourself called The Moving of the Fairmont Hotel. You can see when they lifted it up, they found cannonballs, muskets, bayonets, even human remains of Mexican soldiers who had fought and died on that location during the Battle of the Alamo. Now, if you still don't believe me, folks, you can go see the Fairmont Hotel for yourself. It's still in San Antonio, Texas. It resides on South Alamo Street and East Nueva Street nowadays. It is a restaurant, but it's not a really good one, okay? Now you can usually go get better food at like McDonald's or Taco Bell or something like that. Sorry, shots fired. In front of us, folks, this is one of our other docks. This is actually the most modern one we do have today. This is known as the River Center. Now, River Center is very famous, folks, but it is the very slowest. You see these people standing right here on the right-hand side? They're going to wait for another 3 or 4 hours for the next boat to come here. Extremely long. I'm so sorry to hear that, guys. See, y'all got on the boat in like 10 minutes, right? They have to wait another 3 hours to get on the next boat. Now in front of us, folks, we are entering the most dangerous part of the river. It is known as the River Center Mall. Now, if you're a significant other or a parent, I need y'all to do me a favor, okay? Hide your wallets, because I don't want you to go bankrupt. This mall was built back in 1988. It is connected to the Marriott River Center, which was also built back in 1988. Inside this mall, there's over 120 retail stores. Now, it is 3 stories high, because on the 3rd floor, there's an AMC theater. The basement has an IMAX theater, and the 2nd floor has a David Buster's. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't see that there, actually. Now, if you do want to bring the kids to this mall, in the West Wing, there is a Life Aquarium, and there's also a Legoland. I'm so sorry, parents. Y'all are gonna spend some money, okay? Now, if you do stay in this mall long enough, folks, you do have to become a boat captain like Captain John, okay? Because you gotta pay your debts. The reason why I had to become a boat captain is because the best Mexican food in San Antonio is inside this mall. It's actually right here on the left-hand side, folks. It's called Taco Bell. You see that? Very good Mexican food, very authentic. Something abuelita would make, you know? Doritos, Locos Tacos, Gordita Crunch Wrap. So good, folks. I hope y'all know I'm just playing, okay? If you really think Taco Bell's authentic Mexican, I need you to go home and rethink your life, okay? I'm gonna do the same. Now I am gonna make a quick stop right here, folks. I'm gonna ask y'all some questions, okay? Do I have any fans of the Dallas Cowboys on this boat? Alrighty, well just for you too. Inside this mall, there is a Dallas Cowboys pro shop. Now, if you're not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, there's a Dallas Cowboys pro shop inside this mall, okay? See, it's for everyone, folks. Now on the Riverwalk, we do also have 3 restaurants right here next to the River Center Mall. We have a Hooters down here, folks. Next to the Hooters, there is a Margaritaville. Next to Margaritaville, there's a Hooters. Behind us, there's a Land Shark Bar and Grill. And on the right-hand side, there's a Hooters, okay? So you got a lot of choices down here. Throughout this tour, you might have not heard this engine. These boats are all electrical. We got these back in 2018. The one we're on today, this is a beautiful pink boat known as the military. San Antonio is known as Military City, USA. We have the most active, retired, and reserved military personnel in the nation. Roughly about 45,000 people come to the city to graduate from Lackland Air Force Base and Fort Sam Houston. Do I have any personnel that used to serve the United States military, folks? Thank you very much, ladies. Appreciate y'all service. Now, just like you ladies, Your boat captain used to serve in the United States Army. I was a 12 Bravo combat engineer. I was actually stationed at Fort Drum in New York, Mountain Division. I love what I did. I love being back in my city though. I do not like snow. Right here, folks, as we make this turn, I want y'all to look on the left-hand side, okay? You're gonna see a really tall tower that has those green and red lights at the very top. Now that beautiful tower on the left-hand side, folks, that is known as the Tower Life Building. The Tower Life Building was built for the World's Fair of 1968. The architect, the one that designed that beautiful tower, his name was O'Neill Ford. Now, it's not the same Ford that made the Ford vehicles, okay? If it was, we would have to rebuild the engine every 4 months, and we don't feel like doing that, okay, folks? I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry if you drive Ford, okay? Y'all need to upgrade your vehicles. You know what Ford stands for, right, folks? Found on road dead, fix and repair daily, first on race day. There's a lot of them, okay? That's why we don't drive Ford down here. Now, the Tower of Americas is the second tallest tower in the nation. First one is the Stratosphere. Now, Tower of Americas is still the better one. The reason why is because it's in Texas. At the very top, there's a rotating restaurant. It's called the Charm. It rotates 360 degrees every hour on the hour. Above that, there's an observation center so you can see the beautiful city of San Antonio, Texas. Now, the average price per person to go up a 2-minute elevator ride, it's $14.50. Now, if you don't feel like paying, y'all can always take the 952 steps, okay? Now, keep in mind, 952 steps for free, or a 2-minute elevator ride for $14.50. I don't know about y'all. I'd rather pay for my ticket. Fastest time up there was 5 minutes and 18 seconds, and that was all the way up to 952 steps. That was back in 1981 by a 16-year-old named Tommy Johnson. Second fastest time was 7 minutes flat. The fastest time down was 13 seconds. He fell straight down. Now we are almost really close to the end of our tour, folks. So I'm going to ask another question, okay? I want to see who's been paying attention so far. What's the name of this city? San Antonio, okay. What's the name of this river? The river. San Antonio River, man. Believe it or not, the San Antonio River is the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Texas. Number 2 is the Alamo. And number 3, ladies and gentlemen, boat captain, guys, Captain John. I'm just kidding with you guys. It's Bucky's, okay? Now, it does hurt me to say this, folks, but as I'm making this left-hand turn, we have come to the end of our tour, folks. Honestly, I'm a little sad, too. I bonded with each and every one of y'all, folks. We've laughed together. We've cried together. Honestly, I feel very connected with y'all, folks. But all good things must come to an end, okay? Now, as I'm going to be docking on the right-hand side, please keep in mind, just stay seated, okay? I don't want any of y'all falling over. Now, number 2, look to your left, look to your right, make sure you don't leave anything behind. That's phones, wallets, keys, watches, children, significant others. Don't leave anything like that behind, okay? If you leave anything with value behind, you can actually find it on a website. It is known as www.ebay.com, okay? That's the only way to get your stuff back. Now, if you did enjoy the tour, folks, your boat captain, Captain John, does have a tip jar. Tips are allowed, accepted, very much appreciated, folks. That's how we make our living out here. I hope y'all continue making beautiful memories in our city of San Antonio.